Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So Jaime Munguia defeats Kamil Cezmareta by a retirement stoppage. Cezmareta was pulled out by his corner in between the 6th and 7th rounds. And yeah, all in all, this was a beatdown from start to finish, for the most part. The only sort of real competitive round of a fight, in my opinion, was the first round. I still gave this round to Jaime Munguia, but it was relatively competitive. In the first round, Munguia started this fight aggressively, as we're used to seeing. What I liked from Munguia though, particularly early on in this fight, was he was setting up his power punches and his combinations off his jab. You know, sometimes Munguia is guilty of abandoning his jab and just really trading with power shots. But early on in this fight, I liked that Munguia was using that jab and setting up punches behind it. Right from the very first bell, Munguia was showing good variety in his work. I enjoyed his right uppercut, left hook combination. He was landing some great body shots with both hands, hooks to the body. And yeah, from very early in this fight, you could see the variety of punches in Munguia's arsenal. In the first round though, Cezmareta was trying to fight off Munguia. He was landing some nice jabs, some nice straight right hands, 1-2s, a couple of hooks to the body now and again. He was trying to fight fire with fire, but Munguia was a lot bigger. And Munguia was punching a lot harder. As we know, Cezmareta doesn't really have the power to keep someone like Munguia at bay, and you could basically tell that after the first round. But nevertheless, he was trying his best. But yeah, that was the most competitive round of this fight, and that was round one. After the second round, really it was Munguia having his way with Kamil Cezmareta. Again, pushing Cezmareta back, working him to the body, coming up the middle with uppercuts. As I said earlier, the right uppercut left hook combination was working a treat. And yeah, round by round, you could see Jaime Munguia slowly start to chop down Kamil Cezmareta. And again, there were moments when Cezmareta was throwing back. He was throwing some jabs here and there, some right hands, and he was catching Munguia. But, you know, his work was few and far in between. He wasn't throwing enough punches. And when he did land flush, those shots had no effect on Munguia whatsoever. In fact, there was a couple of times when, you know, he visibly rocked the head back of Munguia, but it just had no effect on him. He just kept on coming forwards and walking down Cezmareta. And yeah, round by round, you could tell that the punishment was starting to accumulate. The body work was starting to tenderize Kamil Cezmareta. And basically from like round 4 onwards, you could see that this fight just wasn't going the distance. Cezmareta was slowing down basically every round from round 4 onwards. He was starting to throw less and less punches each round. And, you know, he was just accumulating a lot of punishment. Once again, Cezmareta showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of toughness, but not much else, if I'm being honest. And, yeah, round 6 was a very tough round for him. Cezmareta was hurt on several occasions to body and head. He was getting rocked by uppercuts through the middle, and Munguia was basically swatting him around like a fly, to tell you the truth. And yeah, in between rounds 6 and 7, his corner pulled him out. Cezmareta's corner pulled him out, and they made the right decision because that was starting to get ugly, you know. Cezmareta was starting to take a real beating in this fight. And yeah, the corner definitely did the right thing. That was one of those fights where a guy could get seriously hurt because Munguia hits hard, but he's not got one punch knockout power, but he throws a lot of punches. When you fight a guy like that, who continuously beats on you and lands shots with decent power but not knockout power, they're the sort of guys who can really hurt a fighter, you know, put him in a bad way. So the corner did the right thing in stopping this fight. And I've got to say, I think this was the best I've seen Munguia for quite some time. I certainly believe it's his best performance at middleweight, and he touched up on a few things here and there. I felt in this fight his punch technique was a lot better. He was delivering a lot more crisp shots. At times, Munguia was trying to move his head, use his jab. Again, it wasn't perfect. There were times when he switched off and got hit. There were times when he abandoned his jab, but you can tell that he's trying to work on things in the gym, and he's trying to replicate those in the ring. He's still very young. I think he's like 23 years old. So Munguia's a guy who is a work in progress. I do believe he's got good attributes. He's got a great gas tank. He's got respectable power. He throws a lot of shots. And I do believe he's developing as a fighter. I've got no problem with these sort of fights for Munguia. I think these are the sort of fights he needs right now. Development fights. Fights where he can learn, you know. I think the best thing to happen to Munguia was moving to 160 and vacating that 154 belt. Because, to be honest, I don't think he was really ready to be a champion. He was very green, very raw. He still is, but he was so inexperienced. I just don't think he was ready to be a champion. And now he's not got a belt on his waist. He's under less pressure to fight the elite guys. He can afford now to take these sort of fights, these learning fights. And honestly, I think he should have one or two more, to be honest. Maybe even someone like Luis Arias, who just beat Jarrett Hurd at 160. That could be a good name for Jaime Munguia. You know, there's no rush with Munguia. He's still very young. He's 23, 24 years old, so no rush. I would say a couple more learning fights against fringe level contenders, and early next year, we can then assess the situation and, you know, see whether he's ready for an elite level middleweight. But yeah, all in all, I felt Munguia in this fight looked pretty good. He is definitely improving on certain aspects. Still needs to improve on a lot more, but I think he's a fighter who is heading in the right direction. So that's always good to see. And I have to say, Jaime Munguia is extremely exciting to watch, man. You know, just comes to bring it, throws a lot of punches, aggressive. What's not to like? But anyway, a decent performance. You know, someone like Luis Arias next, in my opinion, would make a lot of sense. But share your thoughts below. It's been your guy Del Boy. Peace.